Mike, the season's over now. So, I mean, before the season, we weren't doing weekly shows. We were just kind of like waiting for all the topics to build up, and then we would do our show.
Yeah.
We might, I don't know if we'll do a show this upcoming week, but whenever there's stuff to talk about, we'll try and do a podcast. And we want to thank everybody who has supported the channel and commented on any of our videos this season. It's been a tremendous first season to be covering the not necessarily covering, because we're not reporters, but just sort of hopping on a podcast and talking about our teams. It's been a great year. It happened. It all happened so quick. You know what I mean? It feels like just yesterday we started our first episode and we went live. And no, we didn't go live. We recorded it and we had to delete the first one because or the first couple ones, because we just weren't ready for the moment.
We weren't ready for it. Like, this is kind of a funny inside thing, but our first pod, we were so unsure of how exactly it would go. And again, thank God we weren't live, because we just kept laughing our asses off. One of us would either stutter or one of us would laugh. And we were like, oh my God, dude, we have to get this going. We have to get this right. And then finally we got it good. It was it felt like 20 attempts. It was like we would start and one of us would mumble, say something wrong. We'd start laughing, or we'd just start laughing, period. And then finally, at one point, we got in a roll, and it was like we haven't fucked up since. And the second pod, it was like there were no issues. It was like, we know what we're doing, we're good. Yeah. But point being, agreed, man. I would have never expected to be going live and getting a bunch of different people commenting on our podcast. I just thought, yeah, we'll just throw our opinions out there into the echoes of the internet, and probably get a bunch of hate comments here and there. Like, we did our Bill Walsh, YouTube video, and I guess I got something wrong, or maybe because I didn't know the head coach of the Bengals name or something, or because I didn't know that John Lynch was a quarterback at Stanford. And somebody commented something like, know your facts before you talk about it. I was like, sorry, dude. I'm a Raider fan. Who cares? Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't follow Stanford. I don't follow the Niners like that. Damn.
Yeah. I replied to the comment essentially saying that you were talking about the story that your dad, told you, and that if we got anything wrong, please let us know. We'd like to correct it in the future. Didn't receive a comment back.
Yeah. I think I even prefaced before I started going, I was like, I heard this from my dad, so I might not have everything right here. Like, it's word of mouth for me, and actually, impressively, everything tracked really well. So
yeah, it might not have been 100% on the dot, but it was I was watching, I turned on NFL Plus because I guess there's a clip of John Lynch talking about it, talking about the whole Bill Walsh thing. And so I started watching it, and I was like, wow, this is exactly like what Mike was saying. Granted, I don't remember if I watched the full, clip or not, but yeah. But, I just want to, quickly thank, Fonzie, Chicano, Joel, Anthony, Paulina, Pia. I want to thank Mr. C. I want to thank Tony, Hitstick Stepper, the Smitty, number 8, Thrasher. There was a guy named James at one point. There was a guy named Hefe who, oh man, if there's one week I'm thankful that you didn't tune in. It's Hefe is a Chiefs fan. There was a guy from, a Jets fan. I just, I try and remember, all you guys. CG Ruthless tuned in a couple times. So I really appreciate all the comments from you guys. And if I missed you and you've if you've commented on our streams before, I think there was one person named the Sleepy Lady or something like that. But We appreciate you all for checking out the streams. We're not going to be done. Uh, we're going to go live again soon, but in terms of like weekly videos, we might wait for there to be stuff to talk about. Next time, we're going to talk about the Raiders coaching and GM updates. So if you're a Raider fan, I apologize for the past couple weeks have not been so Raiders centric, but the 49ers were in the middle of a Super Bowl run. So we had to really talk about it. The Raiders hired their head coach. So that was really like the main news, a couple weeks ago. And we're almost in combine and draft season.
Yeah,
we're
just
we're
like
gonna
that.
be talking about potential prospects and positions of needs, free agency. Free agency is next month, huh?
It's like the middle of next month. I've always remembered it being like the 25th of March. I think it's like the 11th this year. I'm like,
Yeah. So
oh my god, we're literally a month away.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're a
and the
month away.
combine's at the end of this month. Like, yeah, it's gonna fly by. We're honestly, I won't be shocked if we have like almost every week we still have a pod. Probably
Mhm.
not, but like almost, because again, in a month, in 4 weeks, we're gonna have the free agency. So we got to get on
Mhm.
that before that happens. We still have to talk about the Raiders and the moves they've made so far with their, coaching and GM departments. So
Yeah.
we got some topics.
Yeah. So I was also about to real quick. I said all those names. I didn't get a chance to talk, or to give a shout out to my little cousin Gabriel yet. But he just commented. I was literally about to mention him. But he, I want to say, thank you to him for watching our streams. When he has been able to tune in and out. Um, he's a teenager, right? So he is finally like kind of getting into football a little bit. And I think like I first started to really notice it, yesterday after the game, he called me and, I thought he was just going to like talk smack because, sometimes like, middle schoolers, they'll go, they don't have the social awareness to understand it's a big moment. So I had to call him back because I was like in the middle of the living room and like I was like going through like a lot of heartbreak. I ended up calling him back and he's so upset that the 49ers lost. And I think it was just I was also devastated that the Niners lost. And it just kind of is what it is. And I told him it's okay. The Niners we'll win eventually. It just wasn't our time, but I was just really glad because I think I've been waiting forever for him to like show any interest in football, and he finally did. Like I'm sure you experienced that with your brother Kyle, but
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. And you started mentioning, your cousin Gabriel, and I was like, yeah, I actually kind of did want to shout out Kyle because the last time I saw him 2 weeks ago, I was showing him the podcast. I actually specifically showed him the moment that I told you, hey, cut my video off for 7 seconds and then put me back on. This is my reaction to if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. And it's my fucking, my feet up in the air.
yeah,
And he's just dying laughing. And then I thought about it again. I was like, oh God, if the Chiefs win, I have to do it, and I did it.
yeah.
And that's the
So
only, that's the only positive thing about the Chiefs winning. But besides that, Kyle has become a pretty big Niner fan. I would
mhm.
say mostly I'd say this year specifically, it seems like he's starting to really get into football. So it's really cool because it was just a little before his age that I started getting into football. So, and I like you mentioned, I've been waiting for it, just waiting for Kyle to get into football.
Mhm.
So even though it's
Yeah.
not my team, I'm still happy that he's into football. So
No, it's a beautiful thing because it's like a thing that it should get passed down to generations. You're a good amount older than Kyle. I'm a good amount older than my cousin, and he as he comments, you should collab with Grant Cohn again. I think that would be a great idea.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, as long as Grant wants to do it, I'm very thankful that he, took time out of his day to collaborate with us, a couple months ago. I mean, it feels like forever ago. That was like what, episode 7? We're on episode 35, and we do these things like weekly. So
yeah,
it's been
hopefully
a long
our
time.
internet's better.
Yeah. So, I've got nothing but love and respect for Grant. So, maybe I'll hit him up in a couple weeks. See, like the thing is, I don't want to just have him on just to like, just to boost the channel. Like I don't want to waste his time. I want to like have, something that I want to ask him about. And it was perfect. He went to the Raiders Niners joint practices. So it was like,
it was perfect timing.
It was the perfect timing, to get him on. So it's like that's one thing. It's like, you could want to take shortcuts to try and grow your channel, and like it's fine, but like, I had, I wanted to have great questions to ask, and I felt like I did. And then I completely like threw off my internet off the grid when I introduced him. If you go back and watch that stream, I froze, so I mean, it's been like, just talking about this, it's been a great season. I really shouldn't hang my head on the fact that we didn't win the Super Bowl. It's tough, but life goes on, so I mean, I might cut this portion of the stream into like a little video and just say a thank you to, all our subscribers and everything. If I've interacted with you, if Mike's interacted with you in the comments on like, not even the live videos, we appreciate all of it. We try to reply to all of it. And, yeah, I like what we're building here. And, everybody's welcome to have their own opinion. So, just as long as it's not like ridiculous or hateful or whatever, it's like, Mike and I can take some heat. You know what I mean? I've replied to a couple comments where it's like, I don't agree with a single thing that this person said. I'll give my perspective, but it's all respect. You know what I mean? So, all respect. I appreciate everyone. Have a good night. I'll try not to botch this ending. Maybe that's why the Niners lost. It's because I botched the end and they botched the end of the game. It was overtime. Right?
So. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say here, because you have a lot of superstitions, and I do catch myself having superstitions as well. I'll tell you one funny one that I heard, and I don't know if it's true. But I think I heard through the grapevine or whatever you want to have, what have you, that my dad, back when the Raiders were good, like say playoff games or big games, if the Raiders were losing at halftime, my dad's superstition was if the Raiders are losing at halftime, he needs to go wash the car. He's got to wash the car at halftime, and the Raiders will win. I was like, dude, that's the fucking most hilarious thing I've ever heard. And then
it's a very productive superstition.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like vacuum the house. I got to do the dishes. That's great. Maybe you should do that. That would help tremendously, right? It helps around the house. It's productive. But the superstition I found myself feeling during the Super Bowl was, as long as I'm positive, as long as I'm feeling positive, the Niners are okay. And then what happened? The entire game, I was just like I was standing in front of the couch. I could have sat there, just kind of relaxed, but I was standing the entire game. Like, the Niners need to do this. They got to run the ball. They got to score 7. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, blah, blah. But the entire time I was optimistic. Like, they got to do it because they can do it, right? And then once overtime came, they kicked that field goal, and I just sat down. I was like, fuck. You're giving the ball to Mahomes, like, and then it was gone. And then what did they do? They win the game,
Yeah. Oh my God. So let me share this story. And I know Pia is probably going to eventually watch this, and like, maybe they might show it to the person I'm about to talk about. Pia has this cousin named Andrew. I love Andrew. You know what I mean? No single problem with Andrew, but like my superstitions about like, I need to be in the same spot, same thing, like, and I don't know if I'll have as strict superstitions going forward, because like I did everything that I could and it didn't work out in the end. Or maybe what I'm about to say might be the reason why they didn't win. So literally, the Niners intercepted Mahomes after halftime, and then like I just see everybody look towards the door, and then it was like, "Hey, I made it!" And it was Pia's cousin Andrew, and he was the only one wearing a white jersey, right? And then like I'm just I'm just thinking about superstition, and it's not my place to say go back, but he walks in, and I'm just like, I'm I'm a nervous wreck during the game, and I'm just like in my head, I'm like, what are you doing here? Yeah, like just because of the superstition, right? And then so he sits down. Oh well, but first he's like saying hi to everybody, and then the Niners just like start shooting themselves in the foot, and they go like three, they go 3-and-out, and I tell Pia, like I told Pia, I'm like, everything was going just fine,
Actually, that's funny.
and that's
I
where
just
it went
imagine,
downhill, but it's okay.
I just imagine you sitting there in the red jersey, looking around at everybody, and you see this guy walking with the white jersey. You just go like just your face just drops, like, oh God, no. But the other superstition I was feeling during the game, just before kickoff, 5 minutes before, like maybe right after the national anthem, it was a group of 4 of us, and I don't want to promote alcoholic drinking, so we took a drink of some liquid,
Mhm.
as a celebratory act to the Niners, and then we each took one, and then at halftime, only 3 of us did, and I was like, ooh, I really think that fourth person should also join us because the first half went really good.
Mhm.
And then the game goes to overtime, and I'm like, maybe all 4 of us should take a little another drink, like in my head, but I'm not gonna say anything. But internally, like superstition, I was like, I think all 4 of us should be doing this, not just 3 of us. It's really gonna break the bond, and like kill everything.
Yeah.
So
No, like there were like little things during the game where like I think Pia's dad, I don't know what he was doing in the garage, but he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do something cool." And I'm like if you don't get back in your seat, I'm going to throw a tantrum in my own mind if the
yeah,
49ers do not win this game, and they didn't, right? But like I was just, I told Pia, I told Pia, I was like, your papa's making me nervous. and uh and so Pia, was like, she tried to get her dad, back, and then like it took a couple minutes, and I'm like everybody needs to stay in their spots, and then I think Pia's mom said something about like maybe it was like Taylor Swift or something, um and I I said it out loud, and I didn't want to be rude. I never want to be rude, but I was like, I forget even what was said, but I was just like, well, the 49ers have to win first in order for that to happen, right?
yeah,
I'm just like trying to keep it's like trying to keep the karma. You know what I mean? It's like, when you 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 get too arrogant, and then
yep.
like and then that's when you fall off the cliff.
There's no worse feeling than being like dagger, and then
Yeah.
5 minutes later your team loses, and it's just like,
Yeah, like Pia's dad early in the game was like, "No, you're gonna get your Super Bowl. You're gonna get your Super Bowl. They're gonna win." And I'm just
stop
like,
it.
I have to see it to believe it. I hope so. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
but it's like that's not the reason why the 49ers didn't win. The reason why they didn't win is because they have a genius as a head coach, and I'm too dumb to understand.
Yep. There you go.
Because they say you want to get the ball in your play, in your best player's hands, with the game on the line, and then he's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way, but like, you know, he has shown every single time, like he'll go away from the people who have gotten him there, like Debo Samuel, and he only got 2 touches in the Super Bowl. Debo Samuel didn't really get the ball against the Rams in the second half in 2021. But Sean McVay, when he played against the 49ers in that NFC Championship game, he didn't care about the way it worked. He got the ball to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's the difference between Shanahan having a ring and McVay having a ring, because McVay just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to put the ball in the hands of the people who got me here. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not all about X's and O's. It's about the matchups.
Yep.
It's about the players.
Well, and
don't make it about yourself. Make it about the players.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, I mean, that's the funniest thing is like, it can be both ways. Like, look at Andy Reid. You know, he can scheme guys open like that final play of the game. And he gets that one play where people like myself are saying, man, Andy Reid, you know, but also like it's all Mahomes, right? And then get the ball to Travis Kelce. Kelce, after that final drive in regulation, he ends up with like 90 yards receiving. It's like up until that catch, he had like only 40 or 50 or whatever he had, you know, but it's like, I don't know, just, yeah, it sucks.
Anyways, everyone, that's the show. I know I said that like about maybe 20 minutes ago, but, you know, I mean, it's just a great conversation. So, you know, we hope that you guys enjoyed the stream, have enjoyed the like entire first season of our show. If you want to call it that, maybe I'll put it in a playlist. So yeah, we appreciate you all. Have a great night. I'm going to try not to fumble the outro this time. God bless America.
And God bless the Raiders and the Niners.